Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is Matt Miller. I have the privilege of being the superintendent at Lakota Schools. Would you please stand for the presentation of the colors and for our national anthem? Thank you again for coming, for being here tonight. This is a great turnout to honor our young men and women that will be joining the armed service in just a few short months. At this point, I would like to recognize any of our active, non-active, or retired U.S. servicemen that are in the audience. If you could please stand, or on the stage, if you could please stand so we could recognize you. Thank you, and thank you for your service. At this point, I'd like to recognize our Board of Education who support all of our student efforts and who are a big part of being here tonight. I'd like to introduce our President, Julie Schaefer, our Vice President, Brad Lovell, Board Member Kelly Casper, Board Member Linda O'Connor. Thank you for being here tonight. Todd Parnell could not be here. He had a work commitment. But I do want to appreciate the board, so thank you. I also want to recognize some of our local politicians that are here that are in support of our program. The first one I'd like to recognize is Lee Wong, Trustee President at Westchester, U.S. Army retired. And I don't think you have any counterparts here from the trustees? I didn't see them. Okay. and also to Larry Burks, who is our new Westchester Township Administrator. I saw him. Larry, are you here? Thank you, Larry. And your counterparts in Liberty Township, I'm not sure if any of them are here. If I could get a wave. Nope, I didn't see them. Okay. I'm sure they had other things. At this point, somebody who I do know is here, and who many of you know, or all of you will know, is George Lang. George, could you come on up, please? George Lang is our state representative. He's serving his first term in the Ohio House of Representatives after being appointed in September of 2017. He represents the 52nd House District, which includes Westchester Township, Liberty Township, Fairfield Township, and part of Sharonville and Butler County. And many of you know him as a trustee and other public servant as well. He'd like to say a few words. George?
Thank you, Matt. You know, it is with a high degree of enthusiasm, motivation, excitement, and pride that we stand here to honor these men and women who have made the choice to serve our country, America, a land where you can go where you want to go, do what you want to do, be what you want to be, live the way you want to live, and pray the way you want to pray. And ever since the beginning of our country, back in the birth during the Revolution, it was the men and women of our armed forces that made sure those liberties, those freedoms that our forefathers had planned for us had become a reality for us today. Yes, these people truly are heroes. And I use the word hero on purpose because of my definition of a hero. My definition of a hero is this: anyone who has or is willing to put their life on the line for the betterment or the defense of someone else. Let me say that again. Anyone who has or anyone who is willing to put their life on the line for the defense of or the betterment of somebody else. So all of our first responders in Westchester and Liberty, our policemen, our firemen, our EMT, all heroes in my book. By the way, for the record, based on that definition, I have never been a hero in my life. I have never put my life on the line for someone else. If I'm put in a situation where I have to become a hero, I don't know if I have what it takes to do that. And I pray I never find out. But these men and women over here, these young people, what future we have for America. They are dedicating their lives, stepping forward and being heroes, just like all the veterans that are with us today, all the people that have already served our country to ensure our freedoms and our liberties. What a brilliant idea this is. I was talking with Sue and Jim McLaughlin earlier, former school board members. You know, we honor the sports athletes from Lakota so much. And in our society, we tend to look up to celebrities as heroes. We don't tend to look up to real heroes as heroes. Folks like Lee Wong, who has served in our Army. I see Ron Ziskowski over there, who has served our military. These are the real heroes, and over there are the future heroes. We need to teach our children this. The heroes of today, not Justin Bieber, but how about Jake Berry over there, who's joining the U.S. Marine Corps? Not Britney Spears. Not Britney Spears, but Alicia Dietz over here, joining the U.S. Navy. Not Tiger Woods, but how about Thomas Hembry, joining our United States Air Force? You know, Matt already thanked these folks once, but I want to thank them again for doing this for the first time. The Lakota School Board. I'm talking about Linda O'Connor, Kathy Casper, Julie Schaefer, Todd Parnell, and Brad Lovell. Brad Lovell, by the way, comes from a family of heroes. His brother, Paul Lovell, serves honorably in our Westchester Police Force. Brad, thank you for the service that our community enjoys on behalf of your brother. We really appreciate that. And to all of you about to dedicate your life to the services of the military, on behalf of all of the taxpayers in Westchester and Lakota, we thank you for the commitment that you are about to make. We will pray for you regularly. We'll pray for your wisdom and for your safety. And because of you, may America forever be the home of the free and the land of the brave. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative Lang. At this point, I would like to introduce both of our high school principals who are the main drivers of our events here tonight. First speaking from Lakota East High School, Susanna Davis.
Good evening. On behalf of the faculty, staff, and students at Lakota East, I am honored to be here tonight to recognize the commitment the students seated on stage have made to serve our nation. The young people seated before you share several fundamental qualities. They possess courage, pride, determination, selflessness, dedication to duty, and above all, integrity. They have answered the call to be something bigger than themselves, and tonight we are here to honor you. Thank you for answering the call to serve and for finding the why in your life. Thank you to the family member and friends who are joining us tonight to celebrate these outstanding adults. Your love, support, and encouragement have provided the backbone to these students to be able to answer that call. As a school and a community, we stand here ready to support you as your child gives back. And finally, thank you to the veterans and active duty service members who are joining us tonight. As Harry Truman said, our debt to the heroic men and valiant women in the service of our country can never be repaid. They have earned our undying gratitude. America will never forget their sacrifices. We are forever grateful for the sacrifices you have made to protect our freedoms. Thank you for taking the time tonight to recognize the commitment of the next generation. Students, we are incredibly proud of you, we are incredibly supportive of you, and you are forever part of the Lakota community. Congratulations and good luck. At this time, it's my honor to introduce the president. Ooh. The principal of Lakota West High School, Elgin Card.
You know what she really thinks now, huh? Like I said, my name is Elgin Card, very proud and blessed principal of Lakota West High School, and I'm here on behalf of the Lakota West family, our staff, our students, faculty, and our community and parents. I'm very lucky to be in such a great place at Lakota Schools. And a few thank yous I want to put out. First of all, to the Lakota School District for doing this. It is something, as I think Mr. Langan mentioned, being a former athlete, we're always being praised in different areas, but sometimes this is overlooked, and we always acknowledge those who are going to serve at our graduation ceremonies, but to do something extra special is a wonderful thing. So as I've heard from many principals and many school districts around, they're going to be stealing this from us, which I said, well, we were the first, so I'm the first I know of at least, so I'm very blessed of that. I want to say thank you to those that are served and are serving. I have a very special place in my heart for that, as my father was U.S. Army. He's at my house right now watching my 10-year-old daughter, so I could be here tonight, so that was a great thing. And really and truly, as I always tell the students at Lakota West, and I'm sure the students at Lakota East hear the same, thank you to the parents. We understand, I know having a couple parents I know very well whose children are up here, they're very proud but very concerned. And as I told them, they are doing something that not many people are willing to do. They're willing to go out and defend our country to the freedoms we have. And that is a very wonderful thing. I would say to the students as well, very proud of you, what you're doing, the sacrifices you're making, and we look forward to seeing you do great things in the future. So thank you, and have a great evening.
Thank you both. At this time, I'd like to introduce Pastor Freddie Pifus for our invocation. Could you please stand?
Father, we thank you for your hand that has always been upon our great nation. And we thank you for the veterans that have given their lives to serve, for those who are in this room and those who are fighting even now overseas. We realize that freedom comes with a cost, And our hearts are brimming over tonight with great joy for these young men and women who have made the decision to pay the price for liberty. We ask, God, that you would keep them safe, that you would guard them, you would bless them. And this we pray tonight in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Tonight we are blessed to have two special guests with us this evening who are going to speak to our seniors who will be going into the service. First, I'd like to introduce Chuck Weber, President, Butler County Veteran Service Commission. Chuck.
Thank you, buddy. You're welcome. I'd like to start off tonight by, first of all, acknowledging the folks over there, our heroes, as George put it, congratulating all of you for choosing military service to our nation as your starting point in life, your first real job out of school. Frankly, when I was offered the chance to come up in front of you and speak, I think the persons that I spoke to will tell you that I jumped at the chance. I'm honored to have the opportunity to be in front of a bunch of patriots tonight. Patriots, all of us, for attending this, and patriots for those folks, those young folks that are going to give part of their lives to the service of our country. In choosing the right words to say here today, I decided not to regurgitate a bunch of historical anecdotes justifying your decision to serve. You've all sat through enough history and government classes, and it's, what do you say, time to pass on that right now? Just nod your head a little bit and let me know. So I took a different tack. I thought, well, okay, there must be a difference between our generations, what it was like for me and what it must be like for you. As for me, I was born in 1947, right after World War II. My parents were both products of the Great Depression, and they were both in the Army during World War II. Much of this influenced my early childhood, as you could imagine. Now, that was a long time ago, and yours is a whole new generation, light years apart from my experiences and influence. Different in every which way, right? Couldn't be anything the same. Well, not so fast. Some of you guys were thinking that. Back in the day, now listen carefully, we had teachers, schools, churches, part-time jobs, sports, parents, cars, TVs, radios, telephones, news sources, military service, and so on. No, guys, I was not the one on the Ohio River seeing Lewis and Clark. Wasn't me. So what about today? It seems that there have been some changes in our society and our world. Among them, automobiles are better, safer, and jet-powered air travel, cable TV, streaming TV, internet, Bluetooth, texting, emails, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, wrong. Now, when I wrote this, I got to thinking to myself, I really wish I would have had Twitter back in the day, because I could have gotten out of some of those detentions from study hall. You guys wouldn't have caught me, would you? Okay. So we do have a generation gap, right? It separates us so deeply that sharing common experiences is impossible. Makes sense? I think not. You know I was going to say that. Upon closer examination, the fundamentals remain the same. We are born, we are raised, we are nurtured, and we receive values inculcated by our families. We have the same flag, and yes, mine had 50 stars too. The same Constitution, the same great country, and the same dedicated teachers, and the same opportunities to take a risk, and where you might succeed or you might fail, and then you get a chance to try it over again, always in this world, in this country. Through this process, we eventually mature and become adults. You guys are there. And become adults that will be expected to take our part in the world. Well, the same was true then for me as it is now for you, believe it or not. When my turn came, and I talked to a couple of you earlier, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was 18 years old, and I was graduating from high school, and, you know, high school was the best 6 or 7 years of my life, you know. I had no idea what I wanted to be when I grew up. Maybe a lawyer, an accountant, a salesperson. We call that business development person today. Who knew? There was a war in Vietnam, and I sure wasn't too sure about that mess that was going on at the time. There was a ton of advertising on TV, though, TV, radios, and papers. And I remember the jingles. I will not bore you with my voice. But it said, urging us to look up to learning, which was another way of saying, young person, go to college. So the decision to go to college kind of fit at the time. And besides, it would allow me to kick the can down the road for another 4 years so I could figure out what I wanted to do when I grew up. So to college I went. All I could afford was a in-town school, in my case, University of Akron. Go Zips, nobody? Okay. Those courses I took were kind of a means of learning opportunities that I maybe could pursue. But then I changed my major, and I still didn't know what I wanted to do. Believe me, I had no idea. Sometime near the end of my sophomore year, though, I was unclear about my long-range plan, but I started forming the idea that maybe a stint in the Army would be good. It's not like they weren't hiring. Well, I made the decision, and I spent the final 2 years of college learning to be and taking courses to become an Army officer. After graduation, I spent 2 years on active duty and another 4 years in the reserves. And looking back at the experiences and memories of my military service, this is a get you line right here, they have become among the most cherished moments in my life. It has given me a profound empathy that spans the generations, their generation to my generation to past generations. Of all veterans, young and old, I see and recognize as fellow veterans. I kind of view people like a painting. See what you like about this little piece of philosophy. Each experience, good or bad, is a brushstroke on the painting, making you the subject of many brushstrokes on a canvas. My military brushstrokes had the most profound impact of my career, indeed my life, and the lives of those around me. Looking back, this time constitutes one of the best choices, the best decisions I ever made. Now, I got to be careful when I say that and make sure my wife is in the other room. But, you know, I read that to her and I said, I'm just kidding, just kidding. In this presentation, I've used elements of my life, my experiences, and the means of encouraging you to visualize the profound benefits available to your choice to serve. I'm really talking to you folks. My life out on the platter for you, and see if you could make some comparisons in your own mind. But this way, you're going to get a chance to go with the not from the rearview mirror like I'm describing, but with a foreknowledge of what this great adventure is, seizing all that is offered. Hate to steal this line, but being all that you can be with the opportunities you will encounter. I'm confident that many or all of you will do that. You will learn to work in a structured organization. I'm giving you some benefits now. You will learn to work as part of a chain of command, and you'll be one of those links. You may experience both success and failure, but you will always be granted the opportunity to improve and try again. Finally, you will learn leadership. Leadership is not a natural trait. It's not born. In my dictionary, leadership is a learned skill. It's the ability to influence behavior in others. Leaders are not born, rather they are a product of their entire environment, and an important part of that will be your experience in the military. You will observe both good and lousy leadership. I think anybody in the military will tell you that, that's been in the military. And you will be given the chance to lead others. All this at the tender young age of 21 or less. Where else can you go out and have this much fun for a few hundred a month, huh? Where else? I will close by citing a quote by an iconic general, Douglas MacArthur, who commanded ground troops in the Pacific Theater during World War II. And the Korean conflict, too, he kind of carried over. He's an interesting study. Some might characterize him as a piece of work, if you've ever read about him. I say he's worth consulting Google if you're interested. When he was fired by President Truman after a 52-year career, he stood before Congress with a goodbye message, and the end of which went like this. I will not read his whole message. We'll be here all night. I am closing my 52 years of military service. When I joined the Army, even before the turn of the century, it was the fulfillment of all my boyish hopes and dreams. The world has turned over many times since I took the oath on the plane at West Point. And the hopes and dreams have long since vanished. But I still remember the refrain of one of the most popular barrack ballads of the day that said, "Old soldiers never die, they just fade away." If you've heard that before, that's where it came from. And like the old soldier of that ballad, I now close my military career and just fade away. An old soldier who tried to do his duty as God gave him the light to do it. And so, from all the old soldiers here today, and some of the newer models right back here, and I include everybody. I include Westchester, Butler County, the state of Ohio, and the nation. To you new soldiers here today, you sitting over there in a place of honor, we commend you for your patriotism and your love of country and wish you Godspeed as you embark on this grand journey to serve our great nation. We veterans from wars past welcome you, I think I'm speaking for every veteran in here, to the elite status of fellow veteran, equal among equals, comrades all. I salute you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. You could tell by what Chuck said and the words that he used that he was excited to be here. He was also the first one in the building tonight for this ceremony, so you know that meant a lot to him tonight. Next, I'd like to bring up Mark Riesenberg. Mark is the commander of the American Legion Post 681. Mark?
Thank you. I want to thank the Lakota Board of Education, Superintendent Matt Miller, Betsy Fuller, the entire staff who put all this together for celebrating these young men and women today as they finalize their high school education and embark on a career in the United States military. My name is Mark Riesenberg, as Mr. Miller stated, and I am the commander of Local American Legion Post 681 in Westchester. It's an honor and a privilege for me to be here today to celebrate and thank these students for their decision to join the armed forces. Many students and parents here may know that Post 681 has sponsored many Lakota students for various programs that we run. And frankly, the Lakota students stand out and perform exceptionally well against their counterparts across the state of Ohio in our program. So we thank Lakota for providing all these students for us. I was going to ask all the veterans to stand. Mr. Miller beat me to it, so since most of us are old and have creaky knees, I won't put you through that again. As I stated earlier, we are here today to celebrate and thank these young adults on their decision to step forward, raise their right hand, and state that they will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. Let that sink in for a second. This is an oath that cannot and should not be taken lightly. This is the line protecting our country, our way of life, from those who wish us harm. By taking this oath, these young adults are joining the brother and sisterhood of all the soldiers, sailors, and that includes the Coast Guard, airmen, and Marines that came before them. those that supported operations in the field of Lexington and Concord, the Argonne Forest, the beaches of Normandy, the jungles in Vietnam, the deserts and mountains of Iraq and Afghanistan, and many, many other hot spots around the world. I asked the students on stage to take a look at those veterans that stood up earlier. You are now our brothers and sisters. We are proud and thankful to have you part of our family as you assume your post on America's wall of defense. You have our unwavering respect, support, and thanks for choosing this profession. I do want to speak directly to the students right now to kind of let you know what's going to happen. Some of this may have already occurred, but moving forward, you should expect some, and if not, all of this. First of all, if you haven't heard it yet, probably from a father, an uncle, whatever, comes up to you and says, "So, you joined the military. Well, good for you. Just be glad you didn't go through it when I went through it. We had You've heard this all before, haven't you? Of course you have. Anyways, you probably have also had classmates come up to you and say, "Hey, I heard you joined the Army." Yeah, we got Marines, Navy over here, but they always say the Army. You set them straight. Then they have to start speaking about everything they know about the military, which is not a whole lot. But they mean well. You may also have some students that disagree with this decision. That's okay. They have an opinion. They're allowed to have it. That's what you've joined the military for. Hold your head high and have pride that you've made this decision. Once you arrive at basic training, you will meet people from every corner and every walk of life in the U.S. You'll hear phrases that make no sense coming from dialects you've never heard before. Don't judge. Keep in mind, these folks are now your teammates and your brothers and sisters. You will come to depend on these people to accomplish some of your biggest feats in life. Teamwork is what makes the U.S. branches of the 5 branches of the U.S. military successful, and that's what the military is, a team. Some of these oddballs will probably become your BFFs, forge friendships through shared experiences, and you'll find out soon enough that in reality, they're not much different than you. You're also going to find out rather quickly there's one person or perhaps a group of people, drill instructors, that you think hate every fiber of your being with every fiber of their being. And they might. You, in turn, will hate them and their fibers for their perceived nonsense that they continuously throw your way. You will handle it. You will conquer your obstacles, and in time you will understand that they have a very difficult job, and that is to break you of your civilian ways and build you up to the finest recruit in your selected service. Once your civilian ways have been removed from you, you and your new friends will then learn, train, and prepare for your chosen military job. After completing these obstacles and finishing your training, you and your newfound oddball friend from parts unknown will be fully prepared to do what you've been tasked to do, and ultimately that is to defend and protect the United States of America. Your careers in the military can and will go in many directions. Some may have had enough after their initial enlistment and re-enter the civilian world, and that's perfectly fine. While your military career may not transfer to the civilian world, the work ethic, the discipline, the attention to detail, working under stress, working on a team, taking orders, and leadership are skills you unknowingly developed, and these are skills all employers covet. For those who choose to continue their career, you may find yourself exploring new options like special forces or demonstration teams. You may decide that glamorous job your recruiter talked you into isn't so glamorous after all and want to retrain into another job classification. You may want to completely change branches, or you may decide you would rather fly that airplane than work on it. All these opportunities will be available to you, and I encourage you to explore and consider all of these options. You will be sent to parts of the world you never thought you would see and do things you never thought you would, both professionally and personally. You will probably find yourself in some region that is completely different than your environment here in Southwest Ohio. Again, this is more opportunity to engage in activity that is not readily available around here. September of 1983, I arrived in my new California duty station. That winter, I skied a big mountain for the first time ever. I continue to ski to this day. Education is another opportunity the military offers. If Uncle Sam is going to give you money to go to school, please do so. I encourage you to take advantage of these educational opportunities and every other opportunity the military and your surrounding offers. You've earned every benefit they provide. On the surface, joining the military seems like a singular event that only applies to the recruit. In some cases, that may be true, but for the overwhelming majority, it's the family, more so than the recruit, that bears the stress of their decision. It is said that the military mom is the most stressful job in the world. And make no mistake, moms and the entire family shoulder that burden are a vital part of the U.S. military. At times, it can be very difficult. Your support will be vital as they enter basic training. Your support will be what encourages them to continue when they start to doubt themselves during intense training exercises. It will be your face they're excited to see when they come home on leave. And lastly, they'll depend on your support if they are deployed to a hostile region. But please, Mom and Dad, try to be comforted by the fact that your child will be trained to deal with any situation that they will be exposed to. You will have every right to brag about your child, and I will be disappointed if you don't do so. So don't be afraid to show how proud you are. And to the moms and the families of these young adults, I say thank you. We all say thank you for giving your child to America for a cause and a charge bigger than all of us. Please give these families a thankful round of applause. So in conclusion, I just want to tell these impressive young recruits one last thing, and that's to remember where you come from. You may not have spent your entire education in the Lakota schools, but it is very much a part of you. The people of Westchester and Liberty Township have always supported the veterans and those who choose to make the military a career. They've turned out tonight to show their support. As commander of the local American Legion post, I see the support take many different forms on many occasions, and at times it's overwhelming, but we're always thankful for their support. I'm telling you this so you know that you have the unwavering support of the people in our communities. Your school district has organized this awesome ceremony to show their support and to say thank you, and it's an awesome gesture which you don't find in many school districts. Have pride in your school and take that swag with you wherever you go. And lastly, your families are going to be very proud of you, but they're going to worry about you. They're going to miss you, so call or text them when you can. Perhaps send regular emails, perhaps a letter, if that's even a thing anymore. But keep up the communications, as they are your biggest supporters and they will always be there for you, as will the people of this community and this school district. Congratulations. Thank you. Embrace this adventure. It's going to be awesome. You're going to do great things. This community, this country, everybody supports you. And, congratulations. One last time, thanks to the school board, Matt Miller, Betsy Fuller, and all the staff who helped put this wonderful event together. Thanks for accepting this challenge. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Mark and Chuck. At this point, we will now recognize our seniors. This will be our main event. We'll begin with our United States Air Force recruit.
Hi, my name is Sergeant Hatton. I'm with the actual Army. Unfortunately, Technical Sergeant McLeod wasn't able to make it. He has a appointment in Louisville this evening, so I will get the privilege to announce their young airmen. As the Air Force used to belong to the Army anyways, and as the Army Air Corps, so it kind of works out. All right. So, without further ado, I'd like to announce Airman Thomas Hembry. Thank you. Next up, we have the actual Army, and it's going to be Sergeant First Class Kellogg.
Good evening. Thank you very much, Airman Hatton. I'm going to introduce those students that have joined the U.S. Army and the Army Reserve. Future soldiers, please stand. I want to start with Adam Johantes, accepted and committed to the United States Military Academy, West Point. The Academy provides a superb four-year education which focuses on leader development of cadets in the academic, military, and physical domains, all underwritten by adherence to a code of honor. Next, Private Cody Lingrel, United States Army M1 Armor Crewman. Responsible for operating armored equipment such as the M1A2 Abram to destroy enemy positions. As part of a tank and armor unit, they are ready to defend our country anywhere in the world. Next, Private Daniel Prophet, United States Army Reserve, Mainville, Ohio, as a Signal Support System Specialist. As a Signal Support System Specialist, he will maintain radio and data distribution, providing technical assistance for signal and computer systems. Next, we have Private Miles Jones, United States Army Human Intelligence Collector. As a human intelligence collector, she will screen human intelligence sources and documents, debrief and interrogate human intelligence sources using a foreign language, analyzing and preparing intelligence reports. We have a few students that were unable to make it. One of them, I believe, replied to me that he was going to be on a cruise, which I couldn't understand why he would want to leave Ohio in our wonderful spring weather. And that was Private Kyle Clark, United States Army Military Police Officer. He will protect the lives and property of Army installations, enforcing military law and regulations, controlling traffic, preventing crime, and responding to all emergencies. And next we have Private Sarah Thomas, United States Army Reserve at Fort Thomas, Kentucky, as a combat engineer. She will construct defensive positions, bridges, obstacles, place and detonate explosives, and she will do general engineering. Thank you for your time.
How we doing this evening? My name is Sergeant Gribben. I'm with the Ohio Army National Guard. I got my trusty sidekick, Sergeant David, here. We've been chumming around these parts together for the past 17 years. National Guard's a little bit different. We are part of the actual Army, but we have a dual mission, and we answer both to the Governor of the State of Ohio and to the President of the United States. So when these young men and women that joined the National Guard, they took the oath to both of them. Tonight we're going to start with Adrian Lynch Wilfong, Lakota East. Stand up and come on up. Adrian is a 12 Bravo combat engineer. He has already went to basic combat training. He's learned to throw the hand grenades, get dirty in the dirt. He stood before those drill sergeants, smiled and waved, and has come back and is getting ready to go finish that off this summer. Congrats. Next up, we have Brandon Amidi. He's a 19 Delta Cavalry Scout. He is going to attend The Ohio State University after he completes his training with 100% paid college tuition. Is Julie here? Next up, we have Julie Cook. Julie's going to be a 31 Bravo military police officer for the Ohio Army National Guard. She's going to attend Ohio University with 100% paid college tuition. Next up, we have Michael Doyle, 91 Bravo mechanic. He has also completed basic combat training, spent plenty of time smiling and waving to the drill sergeants, and is eager to get back to him. He's going to attend UC after he's completing it. Jake Henley. Jacob Henley, 19 Delta Cavalry Scout. He will attend The Ohio State University, where he's going to have 100% paid tuition, and he will also do Army ROTC to be one of our future leaders. Amanda Mascara, 88 Mike, truck driver. After she completes her training, she's going to attend Bowling Green State University with 100% paid college tuition. And last but not least, maybe one of my biggest headaches for the past year and a half, just kidding, Casey Owens, 74 Delta Chemical Operations Specialist. She's also completed basic combat training. She will attend Bowling Green. After she completes her training, we'll do Army ROTC and will be one of our other future leaders. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sergeant Flint. We're with the Marines. We're the ones the Army calls when they get in trouble. So tonight we're going to be recognizing the students from Lakota East and Lakota West, starting with Jake Berry. Next, we have Travis Boschert. Next, we have Brenda Mejia Garcia. And then we have Spencer Sullivan.
Good evening. I'm Staff Sergeant Carey. As Sergeant Flint was saying, I'm actually the recruiter for Lakota West, so I'll be calling off these students. All right, we have Brian Flores. We have Christopher Londecker. We have Nicholas Sasser. We have another young man, Brett Fry. He is actually at Marine Corps boot camp right now, so he was unable to attend. I'd like to thank everybody, the administration, all the families, everybody for coming out tonight, allowing us to be a part of this. Do a quick overview real quick of exactly what it means to earn the title of Marine and to be a part of that. I know there's a lot of people, there's a lot of prior Marines out here have that experience, but a lot of people, you kind of only know what you see on TV, internet. So I'd like to go over exactly what these young men and women, what they've signed up for and what the next few months and years of their life is going to look like. The Marine Corps, we're the smallest branch. You're looking roughly 180,000 on active duty. You're looking at, for the young ladies, less than 10,000 of those are female Marines. So to be able to claim that title and say you're a part of that, it speaks volumes about you, and there's very few people out there that can say they're a part of that. So from day one, Marine Corps boot camp, I'm a very straightforward guy. I ain't here to sugarcoat anything. It is very intense. It's the most intense and longest entry-level training that the nation offers. And they're going to break these young men and women down mentally, physically, and emotionally. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a challenge. But through that challenge and overcoming that, persevering, that's going to instill those intangible traits you need, the confidence, direction, poise, that's going to last them the rest of their lives. We break our boot camp down into 4 phases. Starting out, like I said, they're going to break them down. But then they're going to start to build them back up, giving them that foundation that's going to last them the rest of their life, instilling those traits in them. And as they're going through these phases, all right, as of right now, they're Marine Corps police. At boot camp, they become Marine Corps recruits. As they get through the 4th phase of boot camp, go through a thing we call the crucible. Anybody out there heard of the crucible? Got some hands going up, some prior Marines and stuff. All right. So the Crucible, it's very intense. It's a 54-hour training evolution. Lack of food, lack of sleep, taking everything they've learned and throwing it into this. Going to be individual obstacle after obstacle. Going to be a lot of team-based obstacles. If they don't work together with their fellow recruits, building that cohesion, they're not going to make it through it. And at the end of that Crucible, they have a 12-mile hike back. They put their pack, all their gear, looking about 60 pounds worth of gear on their backs, and they're doing a 12-mile hike back to the main part of Parris Island. All right. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little guy, as y'all can tell. I was in pretty good shape going into boot camp, but at the end of the Crucible, I put that pack on my back. I was like, how the heck do you expect me to walk 12 miles now? All right, but you look around, you see your fellow recruits you went through this 3 months with. You look at these drill instructors leading you. You think your friends, family, everybody back home counting on you. So you're doing it for all of them, but ultimately you're doing it for yourself. All right? Because you do this hike back. Has anyone here, see a show of hands, heard of Iwo Jima? Okay, again, got a few hands up. All right, so Iwo Jima, famous battle, Marines took care of business over in the Pacific in World War II. A lot of you probably seen there's a real famous photo, a bunch of Marines raising a flag. That's on top of Mount Suribachi at the Battle of Iwo Jima. There was a monument, a memorial for that at Parris Island, South Carolina. That is what these young men and women will be hiking to after the Crucible. And when they get there and they're standing in formation, dirty, stinky, hungry, tired, just mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted. And this drill instructor, who's called them everything but their name for 3 months, gets in front of them, looks them in the eye, and they're standing there with their hand out. And they put that Eagle, Globe, and Anchor, the Marine Corps emblem, in their hand, and they say, "Congratulations, Marine." There is no bigger sense of confidence, no bigger sense of accomplishment, no bigger sense of pride than that moment right there, because they know they earned it. That's when they make that transformation from recruit to Marine. And that is something that will last them the rest of their life. It is ingrained in your heart, your soul, the poise, the way you carry yourself for the rest of your life. So these young men and women, they have a long road ahead of them. It's going to be a difficult road, but they've all made that commitment. If that's what they want to do, they're going to accept that challenge in hopes to earn that title Marine. Again, I want to thank everybody for allowing us to be out here this evening. And as always, Semper Fidelis.
All right, my name is Petty Officer Elliott. I'm with the United States Navy. This is Petty Officer Harper. Okay. I will be doing both Lakota East and West tonight. First, I want to start off with what Mark said. Don't forget where you come from. I graduated from Lakota West in 2008. Came from around this area, so, you know, it's true. Don't forget where you come from, because it's really what's going to matter. Anything to say to those two?
I came from the same area, just north of Mason, a small town called Clarksville. When I left for boot camp, I did the same thing what the Marines said. They break you down mentally, morally, and physically, and they build that foundation. I still live on that foundation today. And I wanted to come back to the great state of Ohio to ask future sailors and future men and women to help support and defend the United States of America.
Cool. So first off, I want to acknowledge Miss Mallory Sumter. So Mallory Sumter joined the Navy because she wanted to better her life and to capitalize on the benefits and the opportunities that the Navy will achieve for her. She joined the Navy as an aviation boatswain aircraft handling. She leaves for boot camp on June 19th, 2018. Next individual I'd like to honor is Mr. Adam Weaver. He joined the Navy. He joined the Navy because he wanted to serve our country, to protect everybody who's in it. He joined the Navy as a nuclear engineer. He's also receiving a $16,000 sign-on bonus. He leaves for boot camp July 19th. So the next individual I wanted to introduce is Logan Agler. He joined the Navy because he wanted to serve our country, get the benefits, and continue a family tradition. He joined the Navy as an information technician, leaving for boot camp July 26th. Next individual I'd like to honor is a Tanner Campbell, AKA Pineapples. Tanner joined the Navy because he always wanted to serve in the military. He joined the Navy as Advanced Electronical Computer Field, leaving for boot camp, June 12th, 2018. Next individual I'd like to honor is Miss Alicia Dietz. Alicia joined the Navy because she wanted to help others in the time of need. She joined as an aviation maintenance administrating, leaving for boot camp 10/28/18. Next, we have a Mr. Zach Daughtery. He joined the Navy because he wanted new opportunities to travel the world, to receive free education, and to serve his country. He's a submarine electronics computer field. He leaves for boot camp 6/28/18. Next individual I'd like to honor is a Mr. Robert Kerr. Robert joined our Navy because he wanted to serve our country, get the benefits, and continue a family tradition. He joined as an engineman, hoorah, that's what I am, leaving for boot camp 10/11/18. Next individual is Robert Smith. Joined the Navy because he wanted to serve our country, continue a family tradition, joined the Navy as a gas turbine electrician, leaving for boot camp 11/29/18. And the last individual we have joining is he's not here today. His name is Emmanuel Tiberi. He joined the Navy because he wanted to capitalize on the benefits the Navy will give him, receive free college. He joined as an aviation bosun's mate, leaving for boot camp 12/13/18. Now I'd like to introduce the student guest speaker from Lakota East.
Okay. When I was little, I used to think that I would be heading off to college, becoming an office worker and working 9 to 5. Once high school came around, I realized that plan wasn't for me. Being the first to graduate with formal education in my entire family, I realized that there are other paths to take. College was not the only path to success. I was afraid to stray away from the normal path. Luckily, I met and had the honor to talk to 2 women who are about to graduate high school and get ready to ship off to Marine boot camp within the next few months.
You keep going.
Those women are best friends. And it's really close. And we'll be going to boot camp together. I asked them several questions about their mindset, their goal, and most importantly, why they choose to serve. When I asked them, why did you choose to join the military? One woman answered, I wanted to serve in the military because it gives you pride in doing something, like helping a cause. For me, working in a normal job wasn't an option. When I asked her about college, she said she didn't know what to do as a career. She can get the job experience through the Marines, and it will help her decide what to do for the rest of her life. The second woman agreed. She said the main reason why she joined the military, especially the Marine, is after seeing her brother graduate from boot camp. Seeing all of the vast ocean of new Marines wearing their new uniforms and crying because they earned their accomplishment, something just clicked. She explained that when she has thoughts of doing something, she will usually forget it or just not do it completely. But the thought of being a Marine never changed. For me, I choose to serve because of my family and being a part of something much bigger. I grew up with parents who were worried about the financial situation that we had. They were constantly worried about whether there's going to be food on the table or if we're able to pay our rent or mortgage. Knowing that I will earn a steady income and help my family out means the world to me. I'm able to repay back my family from raising me. When I asked the two women if there's anything that they're scared of, both of them agreed that they're scared of the unknown. They're scared of what's going to happen next. Knowing that they're going to boot camp together and they might be in the same platoon, they're very much aware that they're both going to have different experience. It doesn't matter how many videos you watch or how many stories you heard. Everyone's different. It's only human nature to be scared or nervous about the unknown. But seeing how positive and how enthusiastic they are about the future makes you think, wow, the United States is being protected by the right people with the right strength and the right mindset. I'm on the same boat. I'm scared of the unknown. But the feeling that I'm going to get my very own experience, as well as knowing that I will earn my title as a U.S. Marine, makes it all worth it. Joining a military branch, you're earning their title is such an honor and privilege because you know you gave 110% in everything you do. You will reach and maintain their high standard because you are the face of their branch. Joining the military is like earning a spot in the varsity basketball team because you know you gave 110% as well as your team members. It's an honor and privilege to be standing up here talking to past American soldiers as well as future soldiers, as well as their friends and family. Whether you're going into any branch of the military, we all chose to join the military and be here. We know we will maintain the high standard that our nation and the whole world expects the U.S. military. Thank you.
Thank you. That was Brenda Mahia Garcia, Lakota East U.S. Marine Corps recruit. Our last student speaker this evening is James Henley, Lakota West, Army National Guard.
Hi, my name is James Henley. I've always wanted to join the U.S. military. I always wanted to follow in my family's footsteps. We can trace our supporting our national security since the Revolutionary War. We have a wall of photos in our home of family veterans. It has always fascinated me to learn the stories and the history of each of them and the wars they fought in. Lakota supports the military and allow each branch to come together and to get to know the students. It has given me a better understanding of each branch and which branch I was interested in joining. As a little boy in elementary school, I was in Cub Scouts. I loved to play with my friends and learning about outdoor life. After Cub Scouts, I became a Boy Scout. It wasn't what I thought it would be. It was too unstructured. A few years went by. I thought of scouting would be good to introduction to my military life. I ended up rejoining the Boy Scouts, and last December, I ended up earning my Eagle Scout. I'm proud to say 3 days after becoming an Eagle Scout, I swore into the Ohio National Guard. Next year, I plan on attending Ohio University and joining the ROTC national program. And after college, I plan on going into criminology and then continuing my military life for as long as I can. Thank you.
Thank you. Well said. Thank you. Yep.
I would like to thank my mom for all of the support she has given me. She supported me to get my Eagle Scout, and she's also supported me with my military career. Thank you.
Thank you, James. I also just want to take a quick second to thank all of our recruiters tonight for the work that they do with both Lakota East and Lakota West, and for making sure we had the contingent here tonight, and I'm sure you guys are proud too, and ladies are proud too, so thank you very much. Congratulations to all of our students. We are extremely proud of you. That pride does not stop, obviously, at graduation. We will be rooting for you now and in the future. You know, we hear a lot about kids and what kids do wrong. Sometimes we don't talk enough about what they do right. And so the young men and women over there certainly are doing something right, and we're very, very proud of you. So thank you. Congratulations to all of you. When we're in school, we hear things about what kids do. We can talk about the kids that don't do their homework or maybe didn't do something. But tomorrow we can all talk about you and talk about, I mean, we have kids that finish boot camp and they haven't finished graduation. So congratulations to all of you. We're extremely proud. I also want to thank, I did not get a chance to do that earlier, I want to thank the Lakota East and Lakota West choirs for starting us off tonight. I'm not sure if they're still here, but thank you to those students. Very, very impressive. We have great kids. I want to now introduce, to finish up tonight's ceremony, first of all, thank you all for being here. But to take us out tonight, I'd like to introduce the Van Gordon fifth graders who will close the ceremony by singing Lee Greenwood's Proud to Be an American.
Children in my wife.
What a great way to finish. Thank you. Congratulations to our recruits. Thank you all for being here and making this a special night for our students. Good night.